woman knows something about menopause, but do you know the truth, or are you believing misguided information that you've overheard from others?
Right. So here to break down some of the biggest menopause misconceptions is menopause educator and co-founder of Morphus, Andrea Donsky. Thank you so much for being here, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I feel like we've heard a lot about menopause.
Right.
I'm hearing so much about perimenopause. What are the differences between all of these and maybe even like postmenopause?
Okay, great question. So when I was going through it, I actually didn't even know the word perimenopause existed. I thought it was just menopause, and that was kind of the catch-all phrase for everything.
Right, yeah.
So perimenopause are the years before menopause. So it can last anywhere from a couple of months up to like 12 plus years. So everybody's really different.
Wow.
So again, think of it as the menopause transition, when our ovaries start to wind down. Menopause is once you've gone 365 days or 12 months without a period. So it's basically, technically 1 day. Everything after that is considered to be postmenopause. So menopause, postmenopause, same thing.
Wait. It's 1 day and then you're in postmenopause.
Then you're postmenopause. So once you're in menopause for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's interesting.
What with like perimenopause? How do you know if you're in perimenopause?
So
I know everybody's different, but
everybody's different. So it could start after the age of 35. Sometimes even in your earlier 30s. So I started in my, now I'm realizing I started in my late 30s. I started having phantom smells. So you start to, age, when your mother went through it. So there's different things that you can look at, genetics, but you start to feel things are a little bit different. Maybe your sleep is off. Maybe by the end of the day, you're more tired than you used to. Maybe you have more migraines. Maybe your mood is like, hey, wait a second, why am I like going off with, at anything?
how's my mood, Ellen?
Range.
Well.
I mean, there's so many different ones. Actually, the first one I had was phantom smells. So as I just mentioned, and phantom smells is when you start to smell things that other people aren't smelling. For me, it was burnt toast and smoke. So I'd be like, wait a second, do you smell that? They're like, no. I'm like, wait, am I going crazy? But it's actually a symptom of perimenopause and menopause, yeah.
Okay, well, Kristen takes us in. I'm going to ask you about the first misconception you brought. Number one, that we're too young to be in menopause. As you just mentioned, I mean, even in our 40s and 50s, are we too young?
We are absolutely not too young. And that is the number one misconception I hear on my TikTok page is, I'm being told that I'm too young, even in my 40s and 50s, to be feeling these symptoms. Absolutely not true. It could start as early as 35 and sometimes earlier. Yeah, and that's perimenopause. The average age of menopause is 51 and a half.
Okay.
Your second misconception, that menopause is a disease.
It absolutely is not. Every woman will go through menopause if they're blessed to live long enough. So, for me, it's not a disease, and if we're blessed to live long enough, really, because, and it's a way of reframing it. It's not a disease. It's a phase of life.
Yeah.
Right? So important to think about.
Okay, misconception number 3. There are only 20 to 30 symptoms of menopause. Is that true?
Absolutely not. So this is what I heard when I first started learning about it. Is like, oh, there's, 20-30 symptoms. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I started tracking it, personally tracking it myself. I had like a Google Doc. And over the last, several years, I started tracking it. And then we recently did a survey to my company Morphus, and we had over 2,800 women that responded to this survey. We now have discovered that there are more than 102 symptoms.
Oh my goodness.
102 symptoms.
I hear hot flashes,
night sweats.
That's about it. Oh, night sweats.
Mood swings, sleep, right? So the sleep issues. But there's also less common known symptoms like itchy ears. A lot of women get itchy ears, or bruising, or change in body odor. We hear that a lot. Or the phantom smells. So there's ones that are very common and then ones that are not so common. But yeah, the list is long. We have the full list on our website under research. We actually posted all the results if you actually want to go and look at it.
Well, I love that we're talking about it. It's that we're getting it out there. It's not taboo anymore. Like you said, it's a phase of life, but there's ways we can help mitigate some of those symptoms, right?
Absolutely. So my lane, I'm a nutritionist. So my lane is nutrition, lifestyle, and supplements. But I say there's also and/or hormones if that's the route that you choose to do. There's so many more options nowadays than there were even several years ago. I remember when my mom was going through it, right? So it's so nice to see. So exercise, choosing, certain foods, eating whole foods, looking at managing stress levels. That's really important. And then looking at supplements, all of that, working together synergistically can actually help. So we've got the tools in our toolbox that we can use and refer to.
And you have the community Morphus where people can also share and be part of this group and really find that community.
My website is wearemorphus.com, and then also we have our TikTok community, which is fabulous.
And you have so many followers.
It's amazing. I always say we have the best community on TikTok.
Thank you for just putting it out there and helping all of us. Because like you said, if we're blessed to go through it, now I have to go look at all the symptoms. Yeah.
Kristen's off to Google. Meanwhile, if you do want to connect with other women on the menopause journey, you can go to wearemorphus.com. Thank you so much.
A lot of research to do.
All right, it's Friday. Does that make you feel better?